Is going on YouTube? This is Jim, back with another video, and today I want to give you guys my review of Adult Swim's 2016 video game, Rise and Shine. Now I did say 2016, that was the year it did come out, and yes, I am recording this in November of 2018, but it's new to Game Pass, and it's new to most people because of Game Pass, and that's when I finally got my hands on it. And I thought I'd give you guys a review on it because it's a very interesting concept. And for a little short indie game that I beat in about 3 hours, frustratingly towards the end, especially with some of these ridiculous boss fights, I did enjoy my time with it. And I want to give it some praise, but I also want to give everybody kind of a fair warning on what you're going to get into. So, first and foremost, this game is absolutely gorgeous. I love the art style. It's very vibrant, it's fun, it pops. It really has a very good look and feel to it, and I really appreciate that. They've definitely taken a lot of care into making this world vibrant. The story is told via this kind of comic book panel that just really pops off the screen, and I really like that. I appreciated that they put so much attention into that. And it's good that they did, because you're going to be spending a lot of time looking at the same things over and over and over, because you're going to die a lot, because this game has a very frustrating hook to it. Now, you are playing as a character who has this magical gun, and yes, the story is absolute nonsense. You have this magical gun that shoots different kinds of bullets that are going to be used to take out enemies. Now, the problem is the precision aiming part requires you to basically plant your feet in place so that you can line up a good shot. And the problem with that is that enemies are going to be shooting at you very frantically and wildly, so you can't just stand there and take your time. There is a cover-based mechanic, although cover is scarce, and it does eventually get destroyed, so you can't just ultimately hide behind cover like you would in a Gears of War game, for example, and have much success. And the problem is, because of the way the combat works, and because of the way that the enemies are basically shooting at you and your best defense is your offense, in other words, you're going to have to shoot enemy bullets rather than dodge them in order to proceed, you get a lot of this random variant in each little combat zone. And you'll play the same area multiple times until your character is able to progress, primarily because you found that golden combination of enemies that came out at just the right time, so you weren't getting swallowed up in a wall of bullets. And that's something that really frustrates me, because you will do the same thing over and over and play the exact same way, but you don't feel rewarded when you beat things, you feel relieved. And I think that is a major problem with this game. I don't mind that everything is measured down to the pixel, and I'm not saying that this has to be a speedrun game where you count exactly 2 seconds and jump, and then, this enemy will appear right here and shoot after 0.2 milliseconds. I'm not talking about that level of precision, but it's so wildly the other way, where you'll do the same thing, you'll die in an area and you'll replay it, and suddenly you're getting a very different look of the enemies, and they're shooting at a different time, and the patterns are very different, and it's hard to respond in an offensive manner when you're trying to just jump around and, avoid some of the platforming issues that arise from this game. So it's fun, but it's challenging, but it's not challenging in a rewarding way. I think it's challenging just for the sake of the fact that the mechanics don't always work, and I don't like that. And I think this game could have been so much better had there been more emphasis put on into making the game more fair for the player and not being hard for hardness' sake. And I feel like that's where this game does ultimately fall apart towards the end. Now, it's funny, there's some really cool cameos, and it's definitely a love letter to a lot of video game, other video games. Very clearly Legend of Zelda reference. Your dad looks just like Marcus Phoenix in the game. There are companion cubes. There are a lot of things that are going on in the background that you're going to interact with, and it's a lot of fun. But it's hard to enjoy and take all those things in when you do get in these situations where you're stuck, because the game is just throwing so much at you and the controls don't really mirror that level of precision combat that is required. All that said, I did enjoy the game though. I know I'm coming down hard on it, but I think people are going to be turned off to it very rapidly by the unfair difficulty. And I think a lot of people are going to not appreciate their time with it because they're going to start dying what they consider to be cheap deaths. And they're just going to say, you know what, I'm not interested in that. And we live in an environment right now where games have to be great, not just good, in order to be digested. And I think that people are probably going to download this game on Game Pass and say, wow, it's really funny. Those opening cutscenes, those opening moments definitely have a great hook. And I'm definitely invested in this world. And then you're going to play for maybe 20-30 minutes. You're going to get to that first boss and you're going to realize just how difficult it can be, and you're probably going to put it down and not play it again. And that's unfortunate, but understandable. Now, Adult Swim has made a lot of other games, and hopefully they've learned from this experience, and maybe they can take another stab at this world, or at least this style of gameplay, with maybe a little bit more consistency in terms of the gunplay, but that remains to be seen. If I had to give this game a rating on a scale from 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 6. I think it would be better, again, if the combat was more forgiving, but I also am not saying I need to be coddled, and just because it looks like a kid's game does not necessarily mean it needs to be easy. It's just very difficult to manipulate the limited controls you have in such a precise manner to do what the game requires of you in a way that makes you feel rewarding. So that's why I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. But the name of the game is Rise and Shine. It is available on Xbox Game Pass right now. If you have Game Pass, give it a chance. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed the review and the video. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.